Hello and welcome to the Living Your Best Life webinar series presented by the Huntsman World Senior Games. This is a monthly webinar that covers a wide variety of topics that are designed to help you live your best life. My name is Kyle Case, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of the Games. After 28 years of raising 6 children, 15 years of full-time work, and 4 years of college, Lani Puriri retired from her corporate career in Utah, and then she moved to Raglan, New Zealand. It was a 4-year journey of discovery before she found her way to retirement coaching, and using her skills as a sophrologist and cognitive behavioral therapist, Lani guides individuals through their journey of self-discovery. Welcome, Lani. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be with you all. Happy St. Patrick's Day, actually, in New Zealand.
Yeah, you're ahead of us that are joining in live today for sure. And again, so excited to have you and excited to learn from you and understand a little bit more about this journey of self-discovery. I do want to ask you a question though. Tell me what is a retirement coach and why would someone need a retirement coach?
Well, so there's a lot of reasons for retirement coaches. A lot of people, when you first think about retirement, you think about your financial situation and are you going to be able to sustain yourself financially? When I talk about retirement, I talk about the holistic part of you. So are you going to be able to function properly with your mind, body, spirit, breath, and consciousness? Just everything, the whole you. A lot of times we don't think about the emotional aspect of that, and we go into retirement and it's great for a few months or years, but then after a while we're like, what do I do with myself? What is my purpose? What do I wake up to every morning? And for me, a retirement coach, I want to be somebody who can create life up until the very last breath. Every morning you're happy and excited to wake up in the morning. So that's what I do as a retirement coach.
Oh, I love it. That sounds great. Well, Lani, we're very excited to learn from you. And so without further ado, I'll turn the time over to you for your presentation, and then I'll come back at the end and we'll see if we can answer some of our viewers' questions.
Cool. Sounds great. All right, so as always, we share our screens, and so just let me jump in there. And thank you so much. Hello to everyone. Thank you for being here wherever you are and wherever you're joining me from all over the world. I'm so grateful that you've chosen to spend this hour with me. So we're just doing this through the Living Our Lives Well series, and it's so great to see you all here. Before we get started, I actually want to invite you to close your eyes. We're going to do a little presentation just to bring you into the space that you're in right now. So before we do, it's just about you developing some curiosity for where we're at right now. So if you can close your eyes and reflect on the past 24 hours. Just try to identify any emotions that you felt during that period of time, useful or unuseful, resourceful or not, just any emotions. Now with your eyes still closed, we're going to do a quick body scan. Just notice any tingling or vibration in any part of your body. Maybe you hear the sound of your heartbeat or your digestive system. Perhaps you feel the weight of your head on your shoulders. Just starting at the top of your head and becoming aware of any physical or mental sensations. So scanning down the back of your head and your face, your neck, your throat, shoulders, chest, your upper back, arms, middle abdomen and middle back, and then your lower abdomen and your lower back. And finishing off with your legs and your feet. Now, with your eyes still closed, send love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of your body as you take a deep inhale through your nose, a cleansing, nourishing breath. And as you breathe out, visualize your cells receiving that love, joy, and gratitude. Perhaps they smile at you, and you smile back at them. Now opening your eyes, and welcome to the present. So this is an exercise that I do with my clients or with anyone who seems to be anxious at the beginning of my sessions or any meetings that I'm in. It allows the mind and the body to connect and be present in the here and now, and to be curious and wondering about the experience that we're going to have. And so this is the beginnings of clarity. And so that's where we're at now. We're in the present. So our agenda for the next 45 minutes or so, I guess, looks like this. A bit about me, some background and introduction, and then we'll talk about our topic, overcoming stress and anxiety to achieve clarity of mind. And we do that through balanced breathing, gentle movement, and creative visioning. And these are the elements of meditation that I use and teach to help people build a relationship with themselves. We'll actually practice them at the end of the session with a dynamic relaxation meditation called Brush Away the Day. So stick around so that you can participate in that meditation with us. So 2014, that was a whirlwind year for me. I am a graduate of Dixie State University, which is soon to become Utah Tech University, I'm told. And at the age of 52, I finally achieved my degree. And this is the last photo of our family of 8, because 2 days later, my son, the one standing next to me, got married, and our family began to grow. So a lot happened between May and December of that year, like a lot of things happened. There was weddings, there was business and leisure travel, and we packed up everything and moved 6,000 miles across the world to the other side where we live now in New Zealand. So anyone who's taken early retirement will tell you that it's fantastic until it isn't. So 2 years and 5 months later, after moving to New Zealand, our youngest child graduated high school. And that was that. 28 years of PTA and soccer games, and somehow I lost Lani along the way. So fast forward to 2019. Actually, it started in 2018. I traveled to the States for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the birth of my 5th grandbaby. My planned 6-week stay unexpectedly turned into 5 months. And as it turned out, Dad passed in December. My sister lost her 8-year battle with cancer and passed in February. And Mom, heartbroken from the loss, passed 10 days after my sister. My childhood family of 8 living was reduced to 5 in a matter of 3 months' time. So according to traditional Chinese medicine, grief settles in the lungs. The lungs are responsible for taking clean, oxygen-rich air into the body and breathing out air full of harmful carbon dioxide. The lungs take in the new and release the old, the continuous cycle of life. So in traditional Chinese medicine, every organ has a partner organ. They work together to keep the body in balance. The lungs take in the new, and the large intestine releases the waste. Many breathing and bowel disorders are rooted in excess grief and sadness. And excessive grieving can lead to disorders of both the lungs and the large intestine. This is why the ability to be open and to accept new experiences and things, and just letting go of things, that are painful is important to both our emotional and our physical well-being. So I was totally unfamiliar with traditional Chinese medicine, and I didn't know anything about the connection of grief to the lungs and to the large intestine. And in July of 2019, 4 months after returning to New Zealand, I became very, very ill. I now tell my story as if I had COVID because I suffered those symptoms for 10 weeks. Low fatigue, gasping for air, no appetite, on and on and on until the beginning of October. Once I gained my ability to breathe normally and to get through the day without napping and Netflix, the long hauler symptoms set in. My lungs felt scarred, and I was unable to eat as I had eaten before. After being unwell, with an unknown illness, and wondering what was going on with my body, I was tuned into universal frequencies, searching for something, and it led me to sophrology. So sophrology, this is the study of conscious harmony. As a sophrologist, I study the mind, body, spirit, breath, and consciousness to identify the holistic human experience and behavior. Recently, too much emphasis has been placed on our physical health. The powers that be forgot that we are holistic beings. We require balance of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Sophrology was created by blending Western science and Eastern philosophy. So as you come into the practice, some of the techniques might seem familiar to you. You may have had experience with psychology or neurology or some hypnosis, or maybe you've studied breathing techniques and the science of breathing and how that works in the body. Or maybe you've done some yoga, or you love to study about Buddhism and Taoism and Zen and those kind of things. So you will have some of that knowledge in your life experience. It's kind of like when you go walking and you go for a hike and you see similar trees that you've seen before in different areas. Like living in New Zealand, there are similar trees to what there is in Utah. And so they look familiar to me, but somehow they feel slightly different because this land is a different space from the land in Utah. And that's kind of how we might take on something new in our lives, something like sophrology, for example. You might recognize things that are familiar to you, but then also a little bit slightly different. So the impact of sophrology, there is that consistent practice might involve, you might find that your sleep is improved or that your relationships are improved. You feel more happy. You have an increased sense of energy. And the one that we're focusing on for today is the clarity of mind. So this can all be achieved through the implementation of intentional breathing, gentle movement, and visualization, which occurs during the narrations of the meditations. So balanced breathing. Lately, the trend has been when someone feels anxious, we just say to them, breathe, just take a deep breath. It's been the advice that my grandchildren get from their parents. But what was your experience when you were growing up or when you were raising children? Did you default to just take a deep breath, calm down, and let's talk about it? I did not do that with my children. But what did your parents do when you felt anxious? And more importantly, what do you do when you feel anxious? Breathing, really? What's the big deal? Well, there's 11 systems in your body, and they're all working interdependently with the one goal of keeping you alive. Exiting the womb, we took a gasp of oxygen and jump-started into a continuous exchange of gases. And these gases support the systems of the body. Can you make it stop? You cannot make it stop. There is one thing you can't do. You can't stop breathing. And you can contemplate this for as long as you like, but honestly, something or someone is breathing you, and you can label that however you wish. But aside from holding your breath for a few seconds or minutes even, You cannot choose to breathe. To breathe or not to breathe is not a question. You are going to breathe. So through natural breathing, overall health is supported. We improve the function and efficiency of the heart, the lungs, and the organs, and the systems of the body. We balance emotions, we transform negative energy, stressful energy into healing and development, and we are better able to extract and absorb energy that we need for health and spiritual independence. So trees emit oxygen, and humans breathe oxygen in. Humans emit CO2, and the trees absorb the CO2. So I would like to introduce you to my favorite nerve in the body. This is called the vagus nerve. And for those of you in Utah, this is not down the road in Las Vegas. The vagus nerve is within. It is within you. So as you might notice, it looks like an upside down tree. And it is connected to the brain and then flows down through your body with the nerve endings and the neurons firing at various organs. So if you have a look over here, this is the area of your digestive system, and then we go up to up here where the heart is, and your respiratory system, and here in your throat, you can see all these nerve endings that are part of the vagus nerve. And so what's actually going on in your body when you feel stressed? What are the sensations, the physical sensations that you feel? Well, your throat dries out, your heart rate and your blood pressure increase. You might describe sick to your stomach. Do you think that the vagus nerve has anything to do with that? It definitely does. So this heightened sensitivity of the nervous system is fight, flight, or freeze mode, and the stressful place where we tend to spend most of our time, unfortunately. So how do we relax the nerve? We breathe. It's that simple. We do some intentional breathing. That's what we do to relax the vagus nerve, which then relaxes the organs. So Dennis Lewis explains the miracle of breath in his book, The Tao of Natural Breathing. And I hope you don't mind, but this is a bit too special to paraphrase or to shorten. So just read along with me. We'll read this together. So the process of breathing, the fundamental movement of inspiration and expiration, is one of the great miracles of existence. It not only unleashes the energy of life, but it also provides a healing pathway into the deepest recesses of our being. To inhale fully is to fill ourselves with the energies of life, to be inspired. To exhale fully is to empty ourselves, to open ourselves to the unknown, or to be expired. It is through a deepening awareness of the ever-changing rhythms of this primal process that we begin to awaken to our inner healing powers, the energy of wholeness. To breathe is to live. To breathe is to live fully, to manifest the full range and power of our inborn potential for vitality in everything that we sense, feel, think, and do. Unfortunately, few of us breathe fully. Our chronic, shallow breathing reduces the working capacity of our respiratory system to only about 1/3 of its potential. It diminishes the exchange of gases and the production of energy in our cells. It deprives us of the many healthful actions that breathing naturally would have on our inner organs, cuts us off from our own real feelings, and promotes disharmony and disease at every level of our lives. So, chronic shallow breathing reduces the capacity of the respiratory system, deprives the organs of helpful gas exchange, cuts us off from real feelings, and promotes disharmony and disease in our lives. In the final months of my sister's life, when she had almost no energy to leave the house, we would sit on the couch and we would do some deep breathing. She had a desire to do, but she didn't have the energy, and so we would breathe. And then just for an afternoon, she could perhaps gain enough energy to go for a ride in the car. And this photo was taken 10 days before her passing on the very last trip she was able to take outside of the house. So developing intentional breathing habits. This requires an experiment with our own body. We commit to a practice of intentional breathing by building a relationship with the body systems, the muscles, the organs, the skins, the hormones, and so on. And we intimately connect with our thoughts, our attitudes, our emotions, and our consciousness. We become aware of the power of that breathing has to help us overcome stress and anxiety, and opening the way for clarity of mind. This is one way that meditation becomes useful in overcoming stress and anxiety to establish clarity of mind. So another way that we establish clarity of mind or overcome stress and anxiety is with movement. And this is another element of one of the sophrology meditations that we do. So in sophrology, we don't just sit and meditate. Sophrology aims to actually provide meditative strategies which mirror your daily activities. So standing, sitting, walking, sometimes either in place or actually moving, walking with your eyes open in meditation. Who's done that? And lying down. These are all positions that we use during meditation in sophrology. This trains your brain to actually recognize that peace can be established at any time and in any position. So like when you're standing in line and patiently, or maybe not so patiently, waiting your turn, or you're involved in a stressful situation, a conversation, maybe a heightened conversation you're having with someone, you can actually access the techniques of sophrology to relax yourself in those moments. So the movement that you see in this image, we refer to as a tension release. So at the beginning of most of our meditations, we do a standing body scan, and then we raise the arms above the head, we interlock the fingers, and we tense every bit of the body, all the muscles in the body, just for a few seconds, and then we release, relax, and we let go. So we're actually going to try this in just a few minutes, and you'll have the opportunity to experience what that feels like. So there are a variety of things that we might choose to do when we feel stressed. Some of you might choose to exercise, some of you might choose to eat, others will sit and scroll social media, and then there's the option to sleep. Well, as it turns out, exercise, movement is your best option. Movement reduces the negative effects of stress, and believe it or not, your physical body actually becomes more stressed when you don't move. So if you think about how your bones creak and crack when you stand up from sitting for too long, or your joints, just moving your body around in the morning when you first wake up in the morning, and how your joints and your muscles and your body feels. Movement is very helpful to the body. So it develops, the physical activities actually pump those endorphins into your body and those feel-good neurotransmitters. It also stimulates the improved mood. It builds confidence in yourself, because regular exercise just helps you to feel confident in the movement that you're doing with your body. It gives you, you recognize the balance that you have. And also when you're walking with people that you love, it builds relationships. Movement creates clarity of mind as you focus on the physical ability of your body, and you forget the reason why you were stressed in the first place. And then your lymphatic system will love you. So unlike the cardio system, the lymphatic system can only function when there's movement. So you've got lymph nodes in your neck and underneath your arms, and then in your groin area, and also down behind your knees. And the lymph nodes hold that so there's interstitial fluid flowing through your lymphatic system. And the interstitial fluid is actually what is beneficial for your immune system. It keeps you healthy and well. And so movement actually helps the body. So sometimes if you become unwell, you might feel pain and discomfort in your neck. And this would be the interstitial fluid getting locked in there. So sometimes you can massage your neck a little bit when you're feeling unwell. You can also massage underneath your armpits. And then sometimes when my mother was aging and spent most of her time sitting in a chair, I used to rub her knees and her legs. And just the gentle rubbing of the body actually stimulates your lymphatic system and helps that interstitial fluid to start flowing. So another thing that we do in our meditations with sophrology is that we do creative visioning. So this is when you get to use your imagination. And in respect of imagination in science, we look to Albert Einstein, who is a master of imagination. And he said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is the language of the soul. Pay attention to your imagination, and you will discover all you need to be fulfilled. So if you consider all the inventions in the world, the telephone, the computer, airplane, the electricity, all of it began with imagination, an inventor who used creative visioning to create something that would enhance our modern lives. In Eastern philosophy, imagination is chi, or the energy within. So think about your power to create. Some of us are gardeners. Some of us like to work in the kitchen. Or maybe you create events and you're a people connector and you like to bring people together. Or maybe you're an athlete and you're creating health and vitality and muscles and strength for your body. As you engage your imagination, you begin to discover your creative impulses. So what did you create yesterday? And what are you going to create today? And what will you create tomorrow? Do you think of yourself as a creator? Do you speak those words, I am a creator, and find things that you can create in your life? Creative visioning in meditation helps you to establish more confidence and trust in yourself. The more you practice this, the more you are able to access it in daily living, which then releases stress and anxiety, which then creates clarity of mind. All right, so to summarize, in meditation, in the sophrology meditation, which we call dynamic relaxation exercise, and we call it this because we are doing more than just quietly sitting. You and your body are cooperating to achieve balanced breathing, gentle movement, and creative visioning. So 15 to 20 minutes of this 3 to 5 times per week can help you overcome stress and anxiety to achieve clarity of mind. And why do we want clarity of mind? Because that allows you to act instead of react. We feel alive and responsive throughout the day, and we're able to choose consciously the things that we want to speak, the things that we want to do, the things that we want to be a part of in our lives. So that's the sophrology and how we do meditation. And I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because we're actually going to do a meditation right now. And so I'd like you all to join me in this meditation. It'll be about 10 minutes or so. And this is called Brush Away the Day. So what we do in this meditation is we start by standing. So we do a standing body scan. And then we'll do that tension release that I talked about. And then we're going to sit. So it's really important for you to have a chair behind you. So if you are not sitting right now, get a chair behind you so that you can easily access it during the exercise. And then we'll sit down. We'll do an integration pause, noticing all the physical sensations of the body. And then we will actually stand up afterwards, and we're going to do what's called Brush Away the Day. So we're just going to do a body brush and release stress, anxiety, any emotions, unuseful emotions that you might have, or perhaps you might think of an unuseful experience that you've had in your life that you just want to delete. You don't want to think about it anymore. So we're going to do some body brushing, physical touch of the body, just to release any of that anxiety and imagine that all of that dust is floating down to the floor and is going to just blow away. So that's what we're going to do in this meditation. So please join me and we will enjoy the meditation together. So be sure there's a chair behind you so that you're safe. I cannot see you. I hope that you're all safe and that you enjoy this meditation. All right. So closing our eyes to concentrate better on ourselves. Becoming aware of my breathing as if the whole body is breathing and renewing. And becoming aware of my body upright between the earth and the sky. And then noticing any sounds far away, sounds near at hand, and sounds from my own body, my breathing or my heartbeat. Just recognizing those sounds as being part of life without trying to determine what they are. Now becoming aware of my head. This is my first system. Noticing my forehead, my eyes, and all the tiny muscles around my eyes. My nose, the air going in, and the air coming out. My cheekbones, my teeth, my tongue, my mouth and jaw, all softened and relaxed. And my ears and all the space around my ears, my brain and the back of my head. And then noticing my second system. This is my neck, my throat, shoulders, down the back of my arms and the back of my hands. And then my third system, just becoming aware of my chest area, my upper back, my heart and lungs, my respiratory system, all rested and relaxed. And then my fourth system, the area between my rib cage and my navel and my middle back. Noticing my stomach, liver, kidneys, adrenals, all the internal organs. And then becoming aware of my fifth system. This is everything below my navel, my lower abdomen and lower back, hip and pelvic area, the long stretch of my legs, and my feet, just calm and relaxed. And then becoming aware of the whole of my body. I notice the weight of my body, the temperature of my body, the size of my body, and the space that I take up in the universe. Now breathing out to fully empty my stomach and lungs. Breathing in through the nose. Lifting my arms, clasping my hands, and tensing every bit of the body, all the muscles, grimacing my face, tensing every bit of my body from the top of my head, the soles of my feet, tensing, and release, relax, letting go, bringing the arms down, and feeling for the chair behind and sitting down in the integration position for our integration pause. Do this sitting in our chair, our backs strong, straight, and confident, our hands placed gently on our thighs, the soles of the feet on the floor. Taking an integration pause, noticing all the physical and mental sensations that are happening in the body now. Now we'll do vital sophro energizing, bringing energy from the earth in through the feet. So we pull this energy in, taking a breath in through the nose, and feeling that energy in the fifth system, everything below the navel, cleansing and nourishing. And as I breathe out, I harmonize and I send love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of the fifth system. And then breathing this warm, vital energy up into the fourth system, the area between the rib cage and the navel. Cleansing and nourishing all the cells. And as I breathe out, I harmonize, sending love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of my fourth system. And then breathing this warm, vital energy up into the third system, my chest area, my upper back, and my underside of my arms. Cleansing and nourishing all the cells of my third system. And as I breathe out, I harmonize, sending love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of my third system. And then breathing this warm, vital energy up into my second system, my neck, my shoulders, back of my arms. Cleansing, nourishing, and harmonizing as I breathe out, sending love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of my second system. And then breathing this warm, vital energy up into my first system, my head. I cleanse and I nourish all the cells, all the shapes of my first system. And as I breathe out, harmonizing and sending love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of my first system. And then breathing this warm, vital energy up into the whole of my body. Cleansing and nourishing all the cells, all the bits of my body. And I breathe out, harmonizing and sending love, joy, and gratitude to all the cells of my body. And I recognize that the cells receive this love. I smile at my cells. They smile at me. Cell appreciation. And taking an integration pause, noticing all the physical and mental sensations that are happening in my body now. Now we're going to brush away the day, and for that we stand up in front of our chairs, feet shoulder distance apart, becoming aware of my breathing as if the whole body is breathing and renewing, and becoming aware of my body upright between the earth and the sky. I become aware of any emotions that are unuseful or unnecessary, something that I want to delete from my life, any experience, either a recent one or a past one from my life, just wanting to release and let go. While thinking of this, I bring my right arm up to my left shoulder and I brush diagonally across my body just a few times, just releasing, brushing away all of that negative, unuseful energy. And stopping. And then doing the same thing with the left arm on the right shoulder and brushing across the body. Just releasing all of that negative, unuseful energy gone from my life. And I shake my hands and the dust floats to the floor. And now I bring my right arm up to horizontal and I brush 3 times under my arm and 3 times on top. Just release any of that negative, unuseful energy. And I watch and recognize the dust float to the floor, that creative imagination. And lowering my arm and doing the same with the left arm, bringing it up to horizontal and brushing 3 times under and 3 times on top, releasing all that negative, unuseful emotion, any unuseful experience I don't need anymore, just releasing. And I imagine the dust floating to the floor and lower my arm. Now being careful of my balance and of my back, I just bend over and I brush my legs inside my thighs and outside, down all the way down to my ankles, my feet. Just brush all that dust away. All the dust, all the unnegative, unuseful emotions, just releasing, letting go. All the dust floating to the ground beneath, getting rid of all that negative, unuseful experience. And then doing the same with my shoulders and my back, just releasing all that energy. the sides, getting rid of all that negative energy that just keeps me clouded and unclear and unfocused. Just release it all. And then the head and the face, just release. Getting rid of all that, the neck, just dusting away the day. And stopping and breathing in. Refreshed, clean energy and air, and blowing out. Now I look down and I see all the dust, all the negative, unuseful energy below me. Unnecessary emotion, no longer needed in my life. And I feel a gentle breeze come up. And I feel it come against my skin. And I notice and imagine it come and blow away all the dust. And I just watch it blow away. And all of that unuseful negative emotion and those experiences that I want to release just floating away, gone, deleted from my life. And sitting down in the integration position with my back strong, straight, and confident. My hands placed gently on my thighs, the soles of my feet on the floor. And becoming aware of my breathing. Inhale. And release. And taking an integration pause, noticing all the physical and mental sensations that are happening in my body now. Now I become aware of the space around me, noticing the ceiling above, the floor beneath, and the wall surrounding. I feel and sense my body sitting on the chair. And breathing in, I become aware of the capacity to create confidence and trust in myself. And inhaling and becoming aware of my capacity to create harmony of mind, body, and spirit. And breathing in and recognizing my capacity to create a positive future full of health and well-being. Now, as this session comes to a close, I inhale. And I begin to move my body in a way that feels comfortable, taking all the time that I need. And when I'm ready, opening my eyes. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining in the meditation to brush away the day. I do hope that that was helpful for you. If you felt triggered by anything during this presentation or the meditation, please get in touch. You can reach me at those spots on the screen that you see there. And just so you're aware, for those of you who registered for the webinar, I'll be sending a follow-up email just to check in and make certain that you're okay. I just want to make sure everyone's okay. Sometimes these things can be a little bit triggering. So most recently, my favorite mantra is this: entertain only the thoughts and feelings which contribute to your success, happiness, and well-being. Because honestly, what else matters? Is it really necessary? So I hope that you write down this: entertain only the thoughts and feelings which contribute to your success, happiness, and well-being. Commit it to memory. Make it a mantra for yourself. And every time something starts to pull you down into a dark space, speak this. Speak the words in your mind. Speak the words out into the universe so the universe can hear you. My name is Lani Puriri. I am a sophrologist, and a self-discovery coach. I help people build a relationship with themselves by developing a consistent practice of balanced breathing, gentle movement, and creative visioning. I offer one-to-one sessions and group trainings, and I do those online and in person. So I'm happy to meet you in your time zone, because here in New Zealand, we're the first ones to see the sunrise, which means I live in your future. So heaps of love and gratitude to my friends at the Huntsman World Senior Games for letting me be a part of living your best life. And back to you, Kyle.
Well, Lani, thank you. That was impressive and invigorating, and I liked it. I appreciated it. There were a couple of things that really stood out to me. I liked the concept at the beginning of the intentional breathing, and how we just kind of instinctively do that. As parents, we tell our kids, take a deep breath, like you said. I know when I lay down to sleep, that's the first thing I try to do, is to just breathe. And no one has really told me that, but it's just something that has been instinctive, and that makes sense, what you taught there. And I also, just as you were talking about movement and everything that happens with the lymphatic system and the other things, it just made me, it just called to mind our athletes. I think they get that again instinctively, that movement is so, so important. And then the exercise of brushing away the day. I like that as well. What a great concept. What a great idea. We did have a couple of questions that I'd like to get to, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The first one is, do you ever use writing or journaling as part of sophrology?
Absolutely. So what a fantastic question. So at the end of every meditation, I actually say, you might want to write this down so that you can refer back to it at another time. Especially with my clients, we do this because there is a lot that happens between from when they start working with me until when 8 weeks later down the road. And so for them to be able to go back and look at how things have changed. Also, during meditation and that creative visioning process, you're actually really in tune with the spirit within and without. You're really connected. And so a lot of times you'll feel some inspiration will come to you. And so it's really, definitely really important to journal and to write things down. Absolutely. Fantastic question.
Awesome. Here's another one. This is an interesting one. She says, since I developed tinnitus, I have a hard time focusing on anything in a quiet meditative situation other than the screeching in my head. How can I use dynamic relaxation to counteract the interior noise and find more quiet in meditation?
So in my teaching of breathing, there are many breathing strategies, and a couple of them, there's one called the humming bee breath. And you can actually, if you plug your ears and you buzz like a bee, all you can hear in your head is the buzzing sound. And so that is very helpful to release the tinnitus and the sound of that. Also in sophrology, we teach about the inner senses and identifying the five senses that you feel within your body. So not only are our senses working outside of us, our five senses, but they're also working within us. And so it's very helpful to identify other things that you can hear. So taking your mind off of the tinnitus and listening to some of your other favorite sounds. And you can actually access those. It's really amazing in a form of meditation, or if you just really sit and intentionally think about what you can hear, you'll start to realize that you can hear other things that that you've heard in your life: music, laughter, the sound of someone's voice that you love, or the sound of the ocean. You can actually hear those things. I actually have tinnitus myself, and it's really helpful. Sophrology has been very helpful to me with my tinnitus and my meditation, and just being able to completely take my mind off of the tinnitus and the pressure that sometimes I feel in my ears. So yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, for sure. Another question, this is in reference to the exercise that we just did together, the brushing away the day exercise. The question is this typical of what you would do during a session with a client, or are there other types of therapy that are part of your practice?
Many types. This is just one. So as I said, we do different positions that we are in during the day. And there's a variety of different, so as you might have noticed as I was doing the meditation that I talked about the first system, second system, the systems of the body.
Right.
So, and those are actually broken down based on the nerve bundles of your body. So when you completely focus on one section and just relaxing that section before you go down to the next system and relaxing that system. So along with those systems, there are also specific exercises that we do for each of those systems. So depending on the exercise, we have one that's called a waterfall exercise, and I'll totally focus on the fifth system exercises, which is a swaying like this, and then we actually do some virtual walking in place. So lots of movement happens in the sessions, in the meditations. I think there's actually one session where we don't move, and the rest of them we're doing some kind of movement, because it's really important. You will definitely notice how these work through a consistent practice. I was studying sophrology for only 6 weeks, and that integration position that we sit in, this is a position that we sit in on a regular basis in our lives. And so having studied for 6 weeks, I was frantically going somewhere with my husband, and we had to stop and put gas in the car. And we were late, and we jumped in the car, we got down, and we were driving down the road, and I all of a sudden was really calm. And I was thinking, why am I feeling so calm right now? And I realized I was sitting in the integration position, and I had trained my brain that when I sit like this is when we're calm. And I didn't realize it, but I just naturally sat in the integration position. So that's how easily it is to change the neuroplasticity of the brain.
I love it. I love it. Great example. One more question, unless there's another one or two that come in.
Okay.
And I like this one as well. This is from Facebook. Are there adaptations for people with disabilities? For example, if you can't stand?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I did forget to mention, after I started into the meditation, I realized one of the things that I always preface is, if you are not comfortable with the things that I'm narrating during the exercise, any of the positions, then you can sit and just imagine that your body is doing that. For people with disabilities, you can sit and you can just do the brushing. I actually did that in a retirement village last week. There was a couple of people that I said, please, you must not stand up. They wanted to, and I said, no, you have to sit. And so they did the brushing while they were sitting. So everything is adjustable. In sophrology, there's a huge focus on phenomenology, which is your first-hand experience. So it's really important for me to be able to identify and work specifically with the client, and to know exactly what their needs are, and to adjust anything that I do to what the needs are of the person. That's absolutely one of the most important things that I do I think that's what makes sophrology really different from other things. When we study sophrology and how we work with clients, we don't look at textbooks and case studies. We actually have to really be in tune and intuitively work with the client. And so yes, everything is adjustable.
Awesome. Great questions and great answers, Lani. Thank you. Again, just so appreciate your time and your experience and your expertise. I think we all got something that we can take away, simple things that we can do to help bring clarity of mind and reduce the stress in our lives. And there's plenty of that out there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I mentioned, it's, the impact of sophrology is not just clarity of mind, but I think that's one of the most important ones, because when our mind is clear, then we can kind of figure out how to deal with all the other stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Lani, for your
Oh, thank
time, for
you.
your expertise and your experiences. We appreciate it, and I wish you all the best tomorrow in New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm here March 17th. It happens.
It happened. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And we also want to say thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed today's webinar, be sure to tell your friends and your family about the Living Your Best Life webinar series. This presentation will be available to rewatch on seniorgames.net. And we want to invite you to be sure to join us next month when we offer a very special webinar led by Stephanie Parrish, who will be presenting her message, Hope, Healing, and Miracles. That's going to take place on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. It'll start at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And until we meet again, get out there and live your best life. Bye, everyone.